You're tuned into the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. And now, here are your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower.
Out there, if you can hear us.
There we go. We got it. We should be there now. Are you there? We should be there now.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, we'll try that. This thing, I'm telling you, man, you can't do anything. It's just, it's a Windows deal. But anyway, you're tuned into the show that improves, informs, and inspires racers. I'm your horsepower and performance broadcaster, Terry Bridges, along with my main man, Mr. Glenn Lippy Tower.
Hey, how are we doing today?
And Jeff Eden.
She's a warm one.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes, she is. Hey, we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about safety. I know we have in the past, but we're going to talk, and we're also going to talk a little bit about what tracks can do to ensure that they maintain their racers. And, of course, our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest is Mr. Chance Crum. Boy, he just coming off a big win Saturday night. And, as always, we got the weekend results. And let me just say, we have a bunch of them. So we might have some lapping with Lippy. So if you're in the shop, turn it up. Otherwise, grab your favorite cool beverage and enjoy the show. Tonight's Northwest Race Report brought to you in part by Blue Line Graphics, Wicked Fabrication, O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies, South Bay Automotive, Creative Ink and Design, and Scott Seal Coat. Informing, improving, and inspiring racers everywhere. The Northwest Race Report, Wednesday nights, 6:30, exclusively at terrybridges.com. And now, back to your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges, Glenn Tower, and Jeff Eden. Oh, wow. Hey, you know, just out of curiosity, anybody see the 20K fine and 3-position penalty they gave Harvick for the lug nut penalty?
Yeah, I did.
And they fined the crew chief $20,000. I mean, is that too much? Is that too big of a penalty? Or?
What? Yes, in my opinion. For number one, what NASCAR's done, these fines the average person can't even relate to, and I think it's killing NASCAR. Their stands aren't full anymore. You look at it, somebody gets fined $80,000 for this. Half of us don't make $80,000.
Right.
So it doesn't. It makes the average person
you
disenchanted.
It does? Why? Because they can't relate to that amount of money?
Yeah. If I get a traffic ticket, what do I get? $125.
Yeah, but I look at that and I say that's the only way you're going to get to those guys is to hit them in the wallet. I mean, because they're making big money with all the.
But why Kevin? Kevin wasn't out using the gun.
Yeah. Well, you're right, but you know that as a whole, one man, you know, you lose as a team, you take penalties as a team, you know, somebody, you know, I don't know. I was just curious as to if that too stiff. I think lesson could be learned by a lot of folks there as far as setting a precedence, right?
Yeah, but half the time, if you look, there's fines every week.
Well, what's the lug nut deal anyway? I mean, are they not glue? Are they not tight? Are they not running 5 or 4 or whatever?
If they miss one, that's where the fine's at. They must have 5 on there.
Huh.
I got a question. What does the tire guy make?
That I can't tell you.
It's probably decent, I would imagine.
Well, I
don't
realize that, but we're going to have to look into that. I mean, if they're
they find the crew chief though. Well, actually, I should rephrase that. They find Newman Haas, the team. They didn't, you know, but they nailed the crew chief and fined Newman Haas $20,000 for that infraction.
Well, I can see the owner. They got the $20,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. Chime in, you guys. Let me know what you guys think on that. You know, chime in. Let us know if you think that penalty is too severe, or just what you think.
But then again, look at the houses they live in. Maybe they can afford it.
Dude, you know they're making bank. I mean, I'll have to look that up. We'll get that on the next deal. But we got a lot to get covered here on our Wednesday's winners circle results, and man, it's just crazy, man. I don't know. We just probably need to get into it, so let's do that.
Hey, race fans, this is Wetline Racing. You're listening to the Northwest Race Report.
All right, Winner Circle Wednesday. Brought to you by Wicked Fab, the good folks at Wicked Fab in Auburn, Washington, doing the deal since 2002. They are your source for anything hot rod. So check them out online, www.wickedfab.com, or on Facebook, Wicked Fab. Be sure you tell them you heard about it on the Northwest Race Report. Hey, King of the Wings. Big sprint car doohickey on the pavement, which you don't see very often. They rolled into Evergreen. Toby Jenkins took the Hornet main. The Outlaw F figure eights went to Chris Curtis. The Vintage Mods, Devin Ironman. Stingers went to Matt Somerville. And in the King of the Wing, it was Ron Larson winning the B main. Matt Heim took the A. 32 cars qualified. Eric Humphreys was fast time with a 13.737.
Whoa.
Is that no? I'm thinking that's on the 5.8s.
Yeah, that's cooking.
Jeez, that's flying.
Yeah,
that's flying. Wow.
Well,
that's bloody fast.
South Sound, they were 1170s.
Yeah, and the late models were like 19.7 was fat. That's what? That's crazy. Then the same group took off and went to Wenatchee Valley Super Oval for Sunday, but Wenatchee had the wingless sprint cars. The Roadrunners went to Jacob McGraw. Saturday's vintage sprint car main went to Glenn Walker. Main 2 went to Bob Wills. Main 3 went to John Dahl. And the Sunday vintage sprint car main event winner was Dale Neisty. And the Sunday vintage sprint car main number 2 was Jason White. There was only like 2 in one of them, so the vintage. So, Saturday wingless sprint cars, Mike Haslam won it. And then the King of the Wing, B-Main, Adam Smith, Ron Larson, Danny Matthews. Sunday, the wingless sprint cars, Jeff Bird, Guy Barrett, Mike Schott. King of the Wing, A-Main, Jeff Montgomery, and Brian Worf. So this guy, Eric Humphreys, must be a wheel because he was fast time and pretty much right there the whole time. I mean, So, and then the 21st, they were in Meridian on Thursday. The same bunch were there. They had the HPD Midgets, which was won by Mad Mike Daniels. Tommy Harrod took the Hornets. Casey Tillman took the Legends. And then this is the part I don't get. They said Hamilton Jr. wins it, but I looked and I saw Tristan Spires won it. Spears won it said he won it, and Hamilton was second. So I'm not, and then it had him 10th. So I'm not sure what that deal is, but I thought Tristan won that. But we'll have to see. But Tristan Spires can roll, man. Yeah. I mean, he's just cage carting down there. So to go whip up on Hamilton, come on, that's pretty good stuff. Let's see, and then Meridian had their local show on the 23rd. Claimer Stocks, Brian Hyde. Pro 4s went to Ken Chandler. The sprint cars went to, the Pepsi sprint cars went to Justin Segura. The rookie Hornets, J.W. Martin. The mini stocks went to Gary Hussey, and the NASCAR modifieds, Colton Nelson wins it. And none other than karting legend at a young age, Stingray Robb, who is, he been winning everything, was 10th in his first outing. And guess what number he ran for his first time in an oval car?
64.
Nope. You're close. Right there.
14.
Yeah, baby. So Stingray and I got something in common there. Let's see. Hermiston Super Oval, they got their lights fixed. Right? He only wanted to have to pay like that once. Right? I mean, yeah. Once they got the lights fixed. And the West Coast late models were in town, minus Max Schroeder, because he had some other duties, which I think you may have seen. But anyway, mini stocks, Josh Johnson wins it. Hornets, Jason Dunn. West Coast late model, Street Rods Unlimited 125 went to Eric Hector, Andy Soul second, Buck Knoll Jr. third, Doug Poirier fourth, and Randy Marshall fifth. Douglas County Speedway, street stocks. Nicholas Hansen. Modifieds was Andrew Cones. Mini stocks was Dale Roth. Hornets, Steve Woods. Old timers, Kyron Green. State line. This is a cool one. The Bandoleros were there. Alex Bartlett wins that. He's a good shoot. The Legends, Brock Denny wins it. But check it out. Our own DW3, Daniel Watkins, the young guy, getting it done, fifth.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So, good stuff, DW3. You're an honest boy among men, right? I mean, some of these guys, I'm sure, are way older. So, good job, man. Good job. Let's see here. And then the late models, Mike Eller won it. Tyler Brown was 10th. Dave Garber, 13th. Some notes there. Southern Oregon Carters were there. 80 Shifter went to Enrique Jaime. LO206 Light went to Justin Kime. World Formula Light. World Formula Light. That was Ryan Valley. LO206 Jr. Enrique Jaime. Micro Max went to Joe Wernegren. OS KCS at Mac. Junior won. LO206 Mason Smark. So Racing Mason getting it done. Kid Kart was James Hayward, Bryce Smark, and Sadie Burrup. There was 3. Rotax Senior, Jeremy Kinzer. That dude can roll. S4 Shifters, part of the Oregon Two-Stroke Championship Series. Tyler Shepard wins it. Michael Lundeen was in the runner-up spot. So good for Michael. That's good stuff. World Formula Heavy, David Shorn continues his shred of that. That's like 2 in a row. Corey Markham second. And get this, Lip. Yamaha class on the pavement. Dan Garrison wins it. Justin Beard is second.
Nice.
I never knew.
I didn't either.
I never knew. Tri-Cities Night Race, Trey Arnzen. He wins a LO 206 Junior 1. Junior 2, Cody Nagel wins the 206. 206 Masters, Mike Groff. 206 Senior, Kellen Dean. He can roll. Mini Max, Trey Arnzen. Rotex Junior, Matt Morgan. Good job, Matt. PRD, Ricky Worley. Can anybody beat that guy?
I was going to say, we hear that name a lot.
I know, every week, and nobody can beat this guy. Rotex Senior went to Mike Groff. He's been killing it, too. Shifters went to Justin Walsh. Kid Karts, Caleb Keck, Maddox Moran, Tony Schaff, Aiden Denier, Aiden Hansen, Mackenzie Tidrick, and Clayton Hayes Jr. Let's see here. Boy, this is the doozy right here. Tennessee UAS had their big, it was, at Dumpling Valley. It was the deal. Do you know that the drivers' meeting did not get over until 12:30 a.m.?
So we're racing the next day?
Yes. That's how it was. Yep. Rain delay and some other things. So big shout out. I got to give a big shout out to Andy Foley. Okay, so that brings up part of our topic tonight, but he was in one of those UAS guys, and he got tangled up. I don't know exactly what, but he flipped. It came down, and it caught on fire and burned it pretty good. Got his arm messed up pretty bad. So, and they were going awful fast. I mean, 70, almost 75 miles an hour average, were the lap times. So, I mean, they were hauling the mail. And so, big shout out to Andy Foley, man. I hope you get well quick. I hope everything's great. But here it went like this. So, Snow was second quick. Jerry Mullis puts it on the pole with an 11.9 something. It was just ridiculous fast. But the way it goes out is Jerry Mullis wins it. Justin Westerfeld second. James Conway third. And fourth is Joe Warning. I mean, so second through fourth were Ohio Valley UAS guys. Scott Warning's usually a great guest on our show and follows it quite a bit. Haven't seen him in a while, but Joe Warning was there. Matt DeZern fifth, Michaela Stark sixth, Joe Davidson seventh, Robert Smart eighth, Hatton ninth, Peyton 10th, Robbie Yao 11th. Something happened there because he was running up front. So was Wes. He finished. What do you go? Let's see. 9, 10, 11, 12 for Snow. 13th, Hunsucker. 14th, Andy Foley. 15th, Stotts. 16th, Seibert. and Steve Autry. So I guess Snow said he broke a clutch.
Yeah, there's quite a bit that went on back there. Snow was in his backup cart. Mullis was in his backup cart. I believe Yo was in his backup cart as well. There was some carnage back there, definitely for sure. Andy, we need to send out some prayers for that guy
for
right
sure.
there. He didn't really get burned bad, but he had a multiple break in his arm. So his arm is pretty well torched. They're calling for 6 to 9 months of rehab on him. For the broken arm. He was trapped underneath the cart when it caught on fire. The corner workers got there timely, as well as Mr. Wes Snow was coming around the corner, and between him and the corner workers, they were able to get there and flip the cart over and extract Andy out of it and then put the fire out. So it was a pretty scary deal there, you know. But hats off to all the corner workers. Everybody did their job. Everybody thankfully had fire extinguishers. There's been quite a bit of talk and chatter on the internet since then, that we need to put a vent.
Rollover valve on the fuel tank.
Exactly.
And that's part of our bench racing segment tonight. I thought we'd get into. So
exactly, it's all going to be good stuff. Good things are coming of it. It's bad that things have to happen for that to happen, and it's not necessarily why it's happening. Just for us personally, we've never had fire extinguishers in our corners before, and we will be having them now. So, it's evolution. We're all moving forward because of it.
And that's what it's all about. There was a lady on there that was pretty upset too. She says, can you ask the track owner, why is the track never ready on time? Why is there no ambulance there at these big races? Why is it so bumpy, here and there? She had a list of, how can it have the most awesome surface in the world, but the rest of the racetrack, just be an absolute piece of garbage? So she was upset, and you know what? They were, personally, I think they were more than fair answers. Questions. So we'll see if she gets any. I don't know. Did you see that on there? It was right under that post on Wes's page, and
I did not see
she had
that.
a list of them. Why is it never on time? And there was some complaints about that. Man, this place is a joke. I'm never coming back.
I can answer a lot of those questions and debunk some of that stuff. So
yeah, we'll get to that and we'll nail it.
There.
I'm almost done. Shout outs need to go to Joey Wimsett, who was 5th at the SCUSA Pro Series race. Kyle Wick was 21st. Then he rebounded to go 10th. He started 28th, and he finishes 10th.
Nice
and
by
shifter
the Wick
back there.
boys.
Yep. Terry Lawrence was there, 18th and a 16th. Edward Ports from Corvallis. Good little wheel. 14th and a 4th. Austin Torgerson was 38th and 20th. Derek Wang from up in Seattle. He was 3rd and 5th. Nick Tucker. We all know Nick. 9th and a 22nd. Stefanova Nikhil, 5th and 36th. Something definitely happened on the second day. Kellen Ritter from Canada, 19th and a 20th. Kyle Dupel from down Oregon way, 26th and a 42nd. Paul Deasy, UAS winner at Noggle Speedway. Brandon Hill, 22A Speedway winning UAS feature. Jason Famel, Syracuse, UAS winner. And get this, that race back there, that one at Syracuse, the Sinorama one, it had 10 different motors. A Sudam, a KT100, a Clone, a GX390, a 100cc PCR, a Billet 486, a Ski-Doo 250, a Polaris Half Indy 250. There was that. You see all those motors, like 9 or 10 different motors in that class.
That's what that class is all about right there. Some people are just latching on to the motorcycle motors, but there's so many combinations out there.
Yeah.
So.
And the beauty is it's to your heart's content. If you can dream it up or you think you can do it, that's the...
Make it happen.
Yeah, a Skidoo. Who would ever, somebody say, hey, you want to put a, they'd be like, what? Are you kidding me?
Some of that stuff's really fast.
You bet it is. It's crazy fast. So that's it for me. Great job to everybody. Congratulations to Smark and those gang. Corey Markham getting it done on there. And great job to Wes Snow, though, for putting on the race. I guess, really it was a good show, other than you just have some inherent things that are out of your, hands a lot of times. So good. I mean, they started 16 or 17 UAS. That's pretty good.
Yeah, really, all of our UAS regional leaders should, step back and take note of what he did with that, his promotion, his, just getting everybody together. There was some stuff that was out of his control that we'll get into later that happened, but he really did a great job back there and did an awesome job promoting it. Between him and his father, they had drivers interviews and all the things that we do out here are finally catching on back there, and it's making a big difference. People are getting enthused about it.
Yeah.
People are getting excited about it, and we've been doing it out here for a while, but it's finally catching on other places, and I'm glad to see that. That's what people want. That's what people need. We need to be in touch with the people back there that are winning, that are doing things, that are moving things. And, they need recognition for what they do, B and C.
Absolutely. So congratulations to Jerry Mullis. He wins it, and he wins a big one. I had some boys in there. I'm impressed with Joe Warning in that 4th spot, too. That's pretty awesome. So, Jeff, what you had, man, talk to us about a little bit quickly because we got about 4 minutes before our guest calls in, but we'll get to it as soon as we're done. The Hero race down there at Sunset.
Hero race at Sunset. Yes, sir. That was Open Wheel Frenzy that weekend. The sprints went to Wayne Van Radden. Midgets, Chance Crum. Dwarf cars, B-Main, Dennis Leibig, and A-Main, Shane Youngren. We've heard that name before. They had 28 dwarfs, 22 midgets there. The 600 Open went to John Farrell. And 600 restricted went to Lane Taylor.
Good stuff for Lane.
Grays Harbor 360s went to Reese Getz. Kind of disappointing. Only 6 sprint cars showed up for a mid-season championship.
Yikes.
Shipwreck Beads. They had 26 cars. B-Main went to Kevin Smith. A-Main, Tom Sweatman. Cut Rate Auto Parts Street Stocks went to Tyson Blood. That's his 2nd in a row. Outlaw Tuners was Don Briggs Sr. Skagit tune up for their big race this coming weekend. We'll have a little more on that later. The 360s went to Jason Sowell. Sportsman Sprint went to Kelsey Carpenter, and the Tuners went to Freddie Vila. South Sound, we're going to give you some more young guns.
Hey, and by the way, did you okay, go ahead, because I just hope we got the Hornet or the you got, okay, good deal.
The baby grands down at South South went to Corey Boyle. Late models went to Mike Carlson. Legends number 1, Devin West, 2nd generation driver. I think he's 15 or 16. Legends number 2 went to Tristan Hayter, 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation driver. Everybody in his family races.
Mr. Schmoove, he's good.
So yeah, that's a good deal there. And Willamette, 36 Hornets showed up for that race.
Isn't that unbelievable? That's well, you know what? They don't ever get anything.
They got
something.
Yeah. Sam Potter won the first B main. Mr. Maverick. I love them names. Mr. Maverick won B2. And A main was Mr. Owen.
All right.
I love these names. They just cracked me up.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The Outlaws went to Joey Tanner. Super Sports, Brian Thompson. Sportsman, Tom Yak. And a quick note here for my cousin and her husband, flying Ryan Emery. He had his best finish ever. He got 2nd to Tom Yak.
Good deal. That's awesome.
They were pumped, and they should be. And then Cottage Grove had their modified nationals. The Race of Champions went to Nick Trenchard. And B-Main on the first night went to Craig Hansen. 2nd B-Main went to Eric Ashley. A-Main, Colin Weinberger. The late models was Ron Brewster. And the street stocks was Aaron Langdon. Night 2, the B-Main, they only had 1 B-Main, so they lost some cars over the night and went to Derek Young. And the A-Main went to Mark Carroll in his brand new car.
That is awesome.
Late models was Jesse Williamson. The Northwest Sprints was Camden Rubestelli.
Oh, okay. Robustelli,
Yeah,
yeah.
Robustelli.
Yeah.
That's
mhm.
it. You got it.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of
I
missing
know.
was the I-5 quarter midgets, and I don't have enough time to do all of them. But they had 180 quarter midgets at the quarter midget track at Grays Harbor.
Yo. Wow.
Wow.
They're
That's crazy cool.
some of their tow rigs are fancier than anything that was in the pits on the other side where the big cars were. It was
yeah,
crazy.
see, that's nuts.
That one had 7 quarter midgets in it, and it was a double stacker trailer.
Isn't that? I mean, that's awesome though. Really, you know.
with a 40-foot motorhome towing it.
Wow.
I mean,
walked over
go figure.
just over in amazement. Overall, I mean, it was a great. I was at Grays Harbor. It was a good night of racing. Some of the stuff, the safety stuff, I will bring up that happened down there too. Some very scary moments there actually. It's it's all good.
What was scary?
Oh, when a guy's fuel cell goes rolling down the racetrack,
That's never good.
Yeah, that is spooky.
and about half of them guys don't have fire suits that would put out anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get into that. That's a good thing to have. So we'll be getting into that shortly. But yeah, our guest tonight is man, what a kid. He's been taking everything by storm. So we'll give him a chance to give us a call here, and we'll get
Let me just
Get
go.
rolling.
Let me just go over
Yeah, do
our roll-ins for tonight. Dan Watkins pulls down number 1. Scott Keeney comes in at 2. Sean Carr at 3. Daryl Kelso comes in at 4, and Jerry O'Hagan comes in at 5. So that seals up Dan Watkins. He's still holding down number 1. For 75 points. Brian Esquinia is coming in second at 58 points. Dix, who has been missing for a few weeks now, is coming in at number 3 at 47 points. Scott Keeney's my hard charger for the day, pulling up from 7th to 4th with his call in at 42 points. Sean Carr right behind him, also coming up 41 points in the 5th spot.
sweet. Hey, our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest is brought to you by none other than Blue Line Graphics. Get ahead, look good, and get noticed this summer with Blue Line Graphics. Taking the track by storm, winning one track at a time. BLG customers love the unique, durable, and great-looking racing graphics that they can create. BLG has vehicle wraps, graphic kits, logos, and more. Check them out online, www.blg.blue. Get ahead, look good, get noticed with Blue Line Graphics. You know, and speaking of taking the track by storm, Lippy, our In the Seat guest has been doing just that, coming off the big Heroes win at Sunset Speedway. Let's welcome Chance Crum to the show. Thanks for being on the show, Chance.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. So, first question, do you feel like a hero after Saturday night's win?
I don't know. I'm still pretty sore from it.
Sore, and what do you mean by sore?
50 laps is a long time. I hadn't ran a 50-lap race before, so that was a new experience.
And sore meaning just from the bumps and bruises?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, really? That's your first 50-lapper?
Yeah, normally I think, Clay Cup will do 40 laps, but yeah, first 50-lapper dirt race.
Wow. So you must be working in that thing then.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a new kind of dynamic race that I hadn't done before with the tire conservation, all that stuff going on.
Wow. See, and that's pretty there's a lot to be said for that, isn't there? I mean, because you still got to charge hard, but there's that delicate balance of charging hard and not abusing the tires.
Yeah, it kind of adds a different element of strategy that's not normally there, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So how do you work that strategy? What was your strategy going in?
Well, we started third, and I just wanted to spend, the first half of the race just babying my tires and, leaving myself something to go to the front towards the end. And then it worked out about halfway through the race. I was able to make a move on the restart and get the lead. And so I didn't really have to, go super hard and burn off my tires trying to go back to the front. And then towards the end, it was just, holding the bottom the best I could and try to hold off the guys behind me.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to start off the race just as easy as I could and save something for the end.
Wow. So now when you say, you wanted to baby your tires, I mean, what do you mean by that? Because, they throw the green, and the first thought of anybody is man, I got to go.
Hammer down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a super dry slick track, and so, when I was running the bottom, just trying to drive it in nice and straight and not, load it on the right rear super hard, getting wheel spin and eat up that rubber, just trying to save as much as I can.
Right. So you're actually pedaling it then a little bit, first getting back on it, right? You're not just...
Yeah, big time.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So how did qualifying go? I noticed I saw your picture on Facebook. You were kind of way up in the groove. You said, oops. And
Yeah, we qualified fifth. Sunset, we hadn't raced there in the midget before, so it's just, you go out for hot laps, you try a setup, and, okay, we'll go in this direction for qualifying. And so we went out, and, I didn't know whether to run the top or the bottom, so my dad and I agreed that, the first lap we'd go out, run the top, and then the second lap, run the bottom, see which one is better.
Yeah.
And then the first lap, I went to the top in the first corner and missed it and almost got the wall, went up over the cushion, but saved it, got it going, dropped down to the bottom for the second lap, and I think we ended up fifth, which put us third for the main. So.
Well, that wall coming out of 2 comes up on you pretty quick, don't it?
Oh, yeah, big time.
I've watched many a car bounce off of that one.
Yeah.
Wow. So how do they do that? So you qualified fifth, but you start third. Do they do an invert or something? Or is that just how it goes after your heat races?
Yeah, we qualified fifth, and then in the heat race, we finished second, I believe.
Okay.
And then I think they ended up inverting 8 or 6, something like that. And so that put us third in the main.
Wow. Now, do you get passing points for that?
Yeah.
You do. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it. It makes somewhat of a better show out of it, but as long as you're not too, deep in the field.
Yeah. And with 50 laps, it's starting inside the top 10 anywhere, it's lots of opportunities to go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's all you can shoot for. Well, as long as you give yourself a shot at the win, that's really all you can do, right? I mean, just
exactly.
Yeah. So, so far on this Northwest Ford Focus Midget Series, what are your thoughts about it? What are you thinking of it? You liking it?
Oh yeah, I like it. It's a really fun series. It's really cool to be able to go to a bunch of different tracks. We race regularly at Skagit and Elma, but then we get to go down to Oregon a little bit. Run Sunset Speedway, Cottage Grove, and also race Deming. And so it kind of reminds me of like the region series in quarter midgets. Where you get to travel a bunch and go to different tracks and learn different stuff. That's each track specific.
Right. And I mean, I would think that in the long run, that's going to make a guy a better wheel, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, there's different things that you learn. Some tracks, like Deming, you're getting really sideways, and you really have to, drive the car pretty hard. Other tracks like Sunset, like last weekend, is way bigger corners and super dry slick track. You're driving it really straight, and so it just kind of builds up different skills. Learning different things.
Yeah.
So what did you like about Sunset better than, say, Deming?
It's just different. I've liked all the tracks we've gone to so far. Deming is so much more of a bull ring, and it's way tighter and, different kind of style racing, whereas Sunset's a lot more open, and so you're giving bigger arcs to the corners and things like that.
Nice. Yeah, you get to travel further then.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. So you got something? Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, what was your impressions of as they call it, the lady in red there, because that's red clay?
Yeah, it's always interesting when you come off the track and like, hey, the car's kind of red. It's definitely different, but it slicked off really good. The track was smooth all night.
That's the way that one. I've been able to go down there quite a bit. We run a modified, and we go down there, and that's always what it seems. And when it slicks off, it's smooth.
Yeah, definitely. And that track's a little bit unique in that coming off turn 2, it's almost a little bit of a dog leg. It's not, a perfect oval. So it just kind of adds an interesting element to it.
Yeah, because that dog leg puts you against the wall.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's kind of scary right there because that's where you go off the track.
Absolutely. So what's left in 2016 for Chance Crum? I mean, any leads or anything's going up for 2017 yet?
No, nothing yet. We're still we're still focused on this year. I think it's definitely past halfway, but it's still definitely the heart of our season. We're racing the midget, racing the 600, and then I'm also racing 1200 every once in a while at Deming. I think there will be another opportunity to race a sportsman sprint car coming up next month sometime.
Nice.
But other than that, just trying to race as much as possible. We got a pretty full schedule going on.
Right. Would you would you like to try one of those unlimited all-star carts out? Have you seen those yet? Like Ronnie Cox and some of those guys?
Oh yeah, those are pretty cool.
So you like to drive one? You like to try it out?
Yeah. I'm always open to race anything,
Well, we might have to see about that. That would be pretty cool. You should come out to the Betty Boop if you're not doing anything. You got a race on the 21st or 20th or 19th?
If that's a Friday or Saturday, yes. So we got pretty much every weekend on our schedule.
What about Sunday?
September.
What about Sunday?
That's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Lippy's got some connections, and I'll see what I can do. Maybe we can find a Chance Crum a ride in that. Wouldn't that be? That'd be pretty cool.
It would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, before we let you go, I gotta test your knowledge on sprint cars here a little bit. So we're gonna play what the Northwest Race Report calls the Quick Four. Okay, and it's gonna be either true or false, multiple choice. You just try to do the best you can. It's no harm, no foul. We're just testing it, whether you know your history. Twister is a sprint car chassis. True or false?
Twister? I have not heard of that, so I'm going to go with false.
It's true. It is a sprint car chassis. Which is not a sprint car tire? American Racer, Hoosier, Goodyear, or Firestone?
Firestone.
Ding, 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 yay! The cars, KARS, limited sprint cars, run what cubic inch motors? 360, 410, 358, or 350?
Well, limited, I guess I have to go with 350.
Oh, close. 358, but now you know. And lastly, which Winston Cup driver has the most USAC feature wins? Is it Jeff Gordon, Kenny Schrader, Tony Stewart, or Jason Leffler?
See, it's tough to decide between either Jeff Gordon or Tony Stewart. I'll say Jeff Gordon.
Oh, nope, it was Tony Stewart.
Smoke.
That is, but not bad, man. Hey, yeah, you got, so you got what? You got 2 out of 4. No, you got 1 out of 4. That's not bad.
I would have missed 3 of them, so.
Yeah, but that's cool, man. So now you can just brush up. Look up, your homework assignment is Twister, right? You can look that up.
Yeah,
look that up, man. Yeah, for sure. And I don't know about the car thing, but yeah. Thanks for playing. That's pretty awesome. You're the man. Thanks for being a good sport. And so I guess, where you at this weekend?
Friday, we're racing at Deming in the 600 in midget. And then Saturday, we're at Skagit in the midget.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
You like Skagit?
Yeah, it's a fun track.
Yeah. You just like being in the race car, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't care where I am. In my backyard. I'm sitting in the race car. I'm good.
Yeah, it's got to be at a race somewhere.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, good luck this weekend. I mean, we're going to be following you here. So, man, when you get in that victory lane, maybe be cool to give us a shout. Maybe, Hey, Northwest Race Report rocks. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. All right, Chance Crum, thanks for being on the show, buddy. Have a good night. Go back and get helping your dad. I know you guys probably got a lot of stuff to do this week.
Yep, working on the cars. Thank you very much for having me on.
Anytime, my man. You're pretty awesome. So
good luck this weekend there at the Bob's Burger and Brew.
Yeah. Go win that bad boy.
That's the goal.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Chance.
Thank you.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Chance Crum. Nice kid,
I love that. They don't care what it is. I want in it.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool. I mean,
it's a racer.
And a variety, though, because, you jump in a 600, you jump in a 1200, and
yeah,
And
you're still in your midget. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Makes for a better driver.
And obviously it helps quite a bit when when your dad is as passionate as Kevin Crum is, you know, I mean, he's been racing his entire life. So, I mean, you know, it just certainly helps. But they're great together, and that's what it's all about. You know, at the end of the day, father son, you know, you can look back and say, man, what an experience. You know, I mean,
yeah, that'd be fun. My dad never thought racing was any good.
Mine either. He always said he regretted taking me to the one because he says, if I'd have known this, I'd have never, you know.
Oh, my dad used to say, a fool and his money soon parted.
Yeah.
You got a race car.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that crazy? That's just... But you know what? You're going to blow it on something.
Just as well be having fun and
yeah,
fast.
Yeah, I mean, you know, honestly. But yeah, we're going to get into our bench racing segment. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey racers, Glenn Tower here from the Northwest Race Report. You know, with the invention of the internet, our local go-kart shops have really taken a huge blow. One of the great go-kart shops out there is O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies. They offer a great selection of carts, parts, and service. We all want to win, and O'Hagan's wants to help. O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies, Lebanon, Oregon.
All right. Well, you know, after this weekend, and Lippy kind of touched on it, we're going to touch on it with you guys. You know, Andy Foley has a bad fiery wreck, right? And I mean, I was looking at the times there and at this Dumpling Valley because, you know, even if you watch the videos, the place looks like it's ungodly fast.
Yeah, definitely.
And it is. So I was looking at some of Wes Snow ran the quickest lap of the race. It was a lap 8. He, Mullis, I mean, there was several of the top guys on lap 8 ran their best lap, but he ran a 12.017. And that was 74.894 miles an hour.
Wow. That's humming.
So, you know, and that's average, right? That's not, you know, so they're taking, so, you know, so there's points where they got to be close to 100 miles an hour. Maybe not at 800, but, you know, in the upper 90s anyway.
There's some serious acceleration there.
Yes, there is. So it comes to the point, I mean, I don't know around here, but even in the sportsman class, Lip, those guys are going a pretty good clip too, right? The UAS sportsman class, you know, and I mean, actually even the Amos, but no, how many guys do you think have a rollover valve in that thing?
Well, not a lot at this point. Definitely, you know, Rusty and I run. We're taking 6 carts to the track right now, and I can tell you that 2 of them have rollover valves in them, and that's only because they had them in there when we bought them.
Right.
So, you know, it's not something that's high on the list, but it's definitely something that needs to be looked at. Having said that, though, this is not what caused this problem.
No, but what I'm saying is the cause of the problem really isn't the issue here.
No,
the what's what it is. It's
safety of the driver
after the cause, because you know you could never put your finger on the cause. I mean, things just happen. So that's kind of, you know, but and the reason why I ask you that, Lip, is because, you know, let's just say even on a Yamaha. Right, and it just happened to you. If you were to get on there and you were to flip over, and let's say you broke your ankle and maybe you messed up your leg a little bit and your arm, how easy do you think it's going to be to get that cart off of you?
Oh, it's not going to be easy at all. As soon as one of your arm limbs is broken, you're not getting out from underneath it. And then if you add in a broken leg as well, then it's twice as bad, definitely. So as soon as you add a broken limb into that, you know, nothing good is going to come of it. And having said that, I was in the indoor when we had the indoor track out in Raymond, and I rolled over, slow roll to the right. I got my hand out in time, but all it did is tuck it in behind my head. So once it tucked my arm in behind my head, even though I was rolled over slow and onto my right arm, because it was behind my head, I couldn't even lift the cart off myself, just because of it being behind my head already. So I had to wait for somebody else to come along to flip me back over. And I didn't get hurt at all, but just saying that once you pass that point with your limbs, they're not gonna help you, broke or not.
Right. And and there's gonna be some, I can guarantee it, they're gonna get on Facebook, they're gonna say, oh my God, we're another expense or another, I mean, this is the very thing I'm talking about. I mean, Foley's probably lucky. I heard there was only 2 guys. That's what this gal asked. Why were there only 2 workers there or whatever? And I mean, if that's the case, that's just asking for something, I don't know. Maybe that was just on the grid. I'm hoping so, but well, you got to add that UAS card on. Those things are 430 pounds. I mean, they're heavy. You ever picked one? I mean, they are heavy. So if that thing gets on top of you, especially after you've already done the deal and barrel rolled, and I mean, Lippy can attest to that. I mean, you're at the mercy of whatever that thing's wanting to do. So
yeah, and not only that, at that point in time, you're confused.
Yes.
You don't know where you're at and everything.
And then you add, poof, now you're not expecting a fire, but boom, now there is one. So, it's that instant of, I mean, so I don't know. I'm just saying that, I mean, at the very least, I mean, they ought to think about, I mean, the rule change, they don't need another one, I get, but a fire suit and that valve would certainly increase the, odds. I mean,
I think anybody that's involved has already taken note and realized that, yes, even some of the people that were at that race that were running not race jackets, but stuff that is still acceptable, and blue jeans are now questioning that kind of stuff and realizing that we are hauling between 1 and 3 gallons of fuel between our legs around the track, and these are not good things. Sure, it's all contained. But, it doesn't take much to rupture a tank or not have a rollover valve. Or in the case of this, the carburetor is what did it. And, you can't control that. There's nothing you can do to the carburetor. It has a vent bowl on the carburetor, and that's what happened on this instance, is that when the cart got tipped over, the motor got tore loose, the bowl on the carburetor drained. One of the other racers in that race said that the guy that passed him that flipped over, his brake rotor or clutch, they weren't sure which one it was already glowing red. So when he got out of control and flipped over, the carburetor drained onto either the clutch or the brake rotor, which ignited it and set this thing ablaze. It wasn't really about the rollover valve, although I agree with the rollover valves. They need to be implemented. It needs to be something that we all think about, as well as fire suits. You are in an upper echelon of the class. You're carrying more fuel than most people.
That thing's a race car, Lip. That thing is virtually, I mean, in all sense of the word, it's a race car.
Yeah, at that speed, it is, yes.
Yeah, definitely. So, it's all stuff that we need to take into consideration and do. Do we need the sanctioning body, the UAS, to implement all these rules? Sure, that would be nice, but it would be wiser for us as racers to just do it. Just do it and make yourself safer out there and take that, that little bit of gray area out of it and make yourself safer. You're not going to change the cart itself. You're not going to make it any less raceable as far as a fire suit either. I mean, sure, it might be a little more bulky, and sure, it might be a little bit more heat you got to carry with you, but still, to be safer, why not do it?
Hey, I'm going to tell you, would you rather be laying in the hospital with, 3rd-degree burns? And I mean, it's a simple deal. I mean,
well, and not to just go away from the cart, but I got a good friend of mine, Jim Epler, was running fuel funny car. Car blew up. it got so hot it burned his fingers even through his fire gloves.
Yeah, that's a big
So
thing.
the only way he spent 6 months walking around with a white pair of gloves on. Corey Mack, same thing. Corey had his burnt, so he actually had to wear a extra pair of gloves just in case it happened again. You don't realize what that is like until you see those guys. Herm Peterson, which that was many years ago, but his fingers are burnt together. It was so bad.
Wow.
And you watch these guys and the pain. I mean, he can't curl his hands. There's a lot of things that can't be done anymore. That's what I always thought about. I ran a cage cart. I had full fire suit, shoes, gloves, neck collar. I did everything to protect me.
Right.
That's definitely a consideration. I don't think people take into consideration also what fuel is. I mean, it's a liquid form. It finds its way into everything really fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's rubber or anything else. I mean, this is a liquid form that can penetrate just about anything, even stitches on gloves and things like that. That's where it's going to go right on through. And once it ignites, it burns right through that stuff. So
it's worse when it's more dried, if you know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not the liquid form that's bad; it's the vapor and as it's run. But you're right, Lippy. I mean, and guess what? Speed doesn't affect it. It's the same at 2 miles an hour as it is at 200 miles an hour. I mean, it doesn't matter. It does. Yeah, it doesn't care. So, I don't know. I mean, I just thought it was a good thing to bring up because we talk about safety. We've been over it. We've done the tear test. If you listen back, we did jeans and how good they were and this and that, but which they weren't very. But I mean, I think I brought this up at the show a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I think it might have been crew uniforms or something, but I don't know. I don't know where that's
It's got everybody thinking, definitely got everybody thinking, and it's sad that it had to come to that, but also on the same token, it's a good thing because everybody is thinking of it, and, we're probably going to see a lot more safety equipment out there and a lot more things done to our carts and cars because nobody wants to be part of that. That's probably one of the biggest fears out there is fire in one of these things. Crashing is violent, but fire is something that is not easily put out. It travels fast, and it does a lot of damage. So,
yeah, and exactly. But then you take a look at how many people have died over a safety issue that comes back to haunt. Dale Earnhardt Sr., prime example. Now everybody wears a Hans device. And you've seen some people take some violent crashes now, and they walk away. You have Jason Leffler with his sprint car. Now they're wearing 90% of them guys are running containment seats now. That it takes somebody getting hurt to open eyes.
And see, and that's what I was telling my mom that today. I said, unfortunately, and we don't want that, but it's going to take a travesty to, because guys are going to think it's never going to happen to me, and how often does it happen? I mean, I think karting as a whole has a great, cars wise, it's got a pretty good safety record for if you look at for as much as they run versus crashes and I think racing as a whole has a pretty safe record, but
you look at it, especially how many people die on the highway every day.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you have one happen in a series like last year with IndyCar when that tire come down and hit that guy perfect. I mean, you couldn't have stood there and threw a tire at that guy. It's like, oh my gosh, but yet if you ask some guys, well, why don't you build a canopy? Oh, we don't want nothing over our head. We want that open. Well, okay.
Yeah. Yes. You can not to overdo it and whatever, but like I said, those things are race cars. If you I don't know if any of you watched the film, but if you watch Dumpling Valley, it looks like they're hauling even on film, and that's usually a a pretty deceptive thing, but it looks like they are flying.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd like to. I did not see that woman's post that she put up there, but I would like to address some of that stuff. The track was hit with a rainstorm before the day's events got started. Me as a track prep guy and promoter guy, that's a big deal. That's a big hit to come back from that and actually be able to put together a race on that day. That's very difficult. You may be able to get the surface ready, but definitely anything around the surface is still going to be extremely saturated, bumpy, rough, muddy.
Pit stalls.
Pit stalls are going to be rough. And another thing that we'll get into in Lapping with Lippy a little bit later, track help is essential. Sure, lady, if you'd like to get out there and work one of the corners or work the grid or try and organize the whole race to make it all happen, you need to think about these kind of things. This is 90% voluntary most of the time, so you're relying on your racers' wives, your crew chiefs, your crew people, spectators to get out there and help out to make the show go along. It's really easy to stand back and throw stuff at the track, the promoter, or the race organizer, or whoever, to try and say that you should do more and there should be more, and why don't you have this and why don't you have that. For one, it costs money. For two, it takes people. And for three, we're all out there just trying to have fun, and 90% of the time somebody's got to get out of their car to work one of those kind of positions so that all this stuff gets to happen. It doesn't happen just out of the blue, and we don't have an endless flow of people that want to do these jobs to take care of these things. So, it's easy to stand back and speculate on what it should be and where it should be, but what I got to say to that lady is get involved, lady. Try and do it yourself, or maybe even make a difference in that track instead of just throwing trash at them. I think the people that work that track, I think the people that did their job on that day did what they should. They got there in a timely manner. They handled the situation in the way they should. I've been to probably 5 different racetracks in our area around here that don't even have an EMT. I personally hire one every time we have a race. Other ones, they don't have an EMT. They don't have an ambulance near there within 15 minutes of it even. So it's easy to say and see what they should be doing, but it's really hard to get it all together and get it done. It's sad to see that people want to stand back and throw stuff at an organization that's just trying to have a good race environment, and it's never easy to handle. So,
I'm looking for that piece now, but it might have been even on Mullis's page. But I don't know that she was pitching. She was just they were just questions. I mean, when I read that, I didn't get like, oh wow, come on. I mean, were you picking it apart? No, I mean, I didn't get that. I think she was more or less, somebody got hurt pretty good, and then she was asking the whys. I knew I should have copied that, but it was.
I'll be looking for it when I get home. Don't worry.
Well, no, but I don't think. Let me see here. I don't think that she meant it in a bad way like that. That's just my thinking, but I could be wrong.
But it's like down at the drag strip. I worked at Woodburn Drag Strip for 7 years. I built bleachers. I mowed grass. I cleaned the bathrooms. I cleaned the grills. I did everything. And everybody, there was always seemed to be 2 or 3 of them that they didn't like this, they didn't like that, they didn't like this. And I finally one day says, you know what? What do you? I ask a question. I ask the guy, says, how do you think the gates open? You guys just unlock them and away we go. You don't think anything happens in the week? Why? I mean, wash the track, spray the track, do all the stuff and it's a big job. When April rolled around until September, I didn't have a weekend off.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody waters the grass. Nobody mows the grass. Nobody picks up all the garbage that everybody leaves behind. Nobody sees any of that stuff.
Exactly.
And it's us, it's the thankless, the endless, the people that are there the day before, the people that are there the day after that do all that stuff. And it's easy for people to stand back and throw mud or okay, so they're not throwing mud. They're asking questions, but it's real easy. Get involved. Get there. Do something besides show up and complain about what you see and do. You know, it's and we'll get more into that in Lapping with Lippy a little later.
Well, we're getting close to it anyway. I mean, we can still roll. You know, the other topic, unless what was you got something in Lapping with Lippy?
I've got a few things on my mind this week, definitely. So if we want to go there,
yeah, let's do it, man. It's all yours. We're gonna go. We're gonna go Lapping with Lippy right now. Go ahead, Lip.
So I got some really great news. The Steve Miller Senior and Junior, they pit down by me at ORV.
I know them.
They're great racing family. They haven't been in it that long, but they're already up rivaling Rusty and I in their kart counts. They're bringing new people with them. Hats off to Senior. He went ahead and talked to United Rentals. He was able to talk them into sponsoring us for the Betty Boop Day. We will have 4 sets of lights, maybe even 6, depending on how many we need. They will donate whatever we need to making our night race on the night of the Betty Boop go off without a hitch.
Oh, way cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be a night race.
Definitely way cool. We've got the okay from the ORV park to run up until 10 o'clock that night, so all of our mains should be under the lights at night. It's going to be a great deal. Couldn't have done it without the Millers, so if you see them at the track, thank them. So that's a great deal. It's going to happen. The bad news, and 2 days later, I got the notion that I lost my scoring people. So I don't have anybody to score. I don't have anybody to run my electronic scoring system. I don't have anybody to back up hand score anymore. So right now I'm scrambling big time to even try and put enough people together to run the 6th race, which is coming up weekend after next, which is the one before the Betty. So, I'm putting the word out right now. Anybody that is an experienced scoring person, I would love to have you in my shack. I need the help terribly. I don't have enough people to make this all happen through the end of the year right now. The word came out last week that Salem's all done. Albany is all done for the rest of the year. So that's a sad deal. My phone's been ringing off the hook from people down in Oregon. They want to organize themselves. They want to make their own club down there. They want to try and take the track back down there to do the same thing that we do up here. We're a non-profit. We run the track here. We put it in. We clean it up. We do everything. And, Leach down there has always paid everybody to do everything, and that's why he can't continue to do what he does down there, because he pays all of his positions, and they're not getting the cart count in there anymore to pay the positions that everybody does. So people are trying to organize themselves, and I hope they do it, to help the whole karting situation out. But here we're struggling just as much. Everybody says, well, that's fine. We're going to go up to ORV. Well, that's great, people. I really appreciate it. Our numbers are already great, but I do not have the people to continue doing what I do right now. Our last race went way late in the day, and it was strictly because I just didn't have enough manpower to make it all happen. So, I need help. I need people in all positions, from flag corners to scoring to scale people to you name it. I just don't have enough people to make it happen. So I've got high hopes. I would love to do the Betty in the same format that we do the BK down in Salem, and that's to let all of our UAS guys time in for their for their starting positions and go for the king of the hill and fast lap and stuff like that. But right now, I don't even have anybody to run my electronic scoring system, and personally, I'm not capable of doing it. I'm a race official, so my time and eyes are spent trying to keep law and order on the track. And God bless my wife. This is her first year doing scoring herself. She does an all right job, but you get more than 6 or 8 on the track out there, and I'm over my head. So I'm putting the call out right now. I need help. So if you're listening and you're out there, reach out to me, because it needs to happen.
Well, it does. I don't know what this. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise in some ways, but then you say, well, I mean, it is. And normally I would be, jumping up and down, but
I would be ecstatic personally.
But when you don't, but that's the other thing about the club. I mean, what the purpose of it is, I mean, I'm thinking that everybody is in the same deal. They all are passionate about something, so let's do the club, right? Well, it's always been my thought that the club, whoever is the president, whatever, I mean, that doesn't mean he gets all the work. I mean, it's supposed to be shared among everybody in that club. I mean, I just don't see why. I don't know how many members we have, but I don't know.
Members are good. Cart count is really good at our track. That's not a problem.
No, but how many do we have? How many members do we have?
There's about 42 members that are paid right now, that are on the books.
Right.
So that's what we have. On an average, we have about 5 people that come there to donate their time. And I have to say this, I've got the 5 people that I'm thinking of right now do not race. They come there, A, because they like me, and B, because they like the club. And they donate all of their time and do not race and do not have anybody that does race. They just strictly come there to make it all happen, and that's not the way it should be. There's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of people that come and support it. There's a lot of people that talk good about it and enjoy themselves when they're there. But people, you've got to get involved. You have to become part of this, even if it's just a voice to keep us on the right track. It's no different than any politics or anything else. When people get in there and they spend too much time in there, they become clouded on their judgments. And so we need new people to come and go all the time with new ideas, with new thoughts, and with a perspective that we're not always hearing. So, that's all things that definitely need to happen out there. Right.
And I mean, PK used to do it back in, it used to be back when it was like called sprocket benders, but they used to, everybody had to work a race. Yeah. They had to work 1 or 2 a year in order to run for points. Did it mean you had to, yeah, maybe, or if you could work it in between your deal, but I mean, they made that, mandatory because they were, going through the same thing. I mean,
the RC track, you come off the track and you went and cornered.
Right.
And then you could go work on your stuff afterwards.
Right. And a lot of that too, it could be the system. Not a lot of people know. I mean, there's probably a lot of people that have motos, but are they into karting? That's the other thing. You could, there's some that know it, but apparently there's some big, secret because nobody doesn't want anybody to know. I mean, it's like, that's where you have to hopefully get people that want to do it. And, but I was talking with Jason about it, and all this. It's like he says, I don't know if we can, It's like, well, there sure is a lot of I don't knows. I mean, how come nobody gets on the horn and calls them guys and says, hey, here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we need to do. Can we do it? Right? I mean, just for example, they say, well, you can have bikes and carts. It'll do both. But yet you can't, they input it where they have all the bikes, the same brand, you can't add additional brands to that. Well, to me, that just blows my mind. I mean, I just can't understand a program being that. Granted, I know they're motorcycles, but nothing's that dyed in the wool where you can only put in the motorcycle makes, right? That's just one thing, right? And it was supposed to be able to go to my laps and real easy and get everything so people could get it on our monitor. And I mean, I don't know. The few times we used it on the thing, it was a little more awkward for me, but that's being on the, the online thing and all that. It was a little more awkward for me. Granted, it's what, 4,000 or 5,000 versus, I don't know what the low end of the, AMB is, but
AMB is 12.5 is where it starts. Most average around $18,000. So you can get in on the low base, but it's definitely the low base. We did our homework on that one. Our system really is a great system. I just haven't had a chance to learn it whatsoever. We had a lady that ran it last year for us, but she wasn't a carter, so it was very difficult for her because she didn't understand when different things were happening and when to stop it, when to start it, what a yellow was, and different things like that. And, we flustered her right off the bat, so, she doesn't want to come back. We've had a few people now that have learned how to do inputs and things like that, and that's been great, but now they've decided not to come back. So, it's left us in a real spot where we've got a great system, but nobody knows how to use it. So it's definitely a big difficulty just in trying to find people that are going to be dedicated enough that want to be there, even when they don't want to. Shoot, oh fire, there's weekends I don't want to be there when I get there, but I end up having a great time when it's all over with. So
right. It's tough. I get it, especially if you're racing, you're in that mindset, but there should be enough people to be able to do that, right? So a racer doesn't have to. But if push came to shove, I'm sure, and they do. But I brought up a point I was thinking while you were chatting that Kyler Culver said. Rico Jones said, "Oh no more Albany." He goes, "Shoot, that means I'm gonna have to sell my stuff." And I think Kyler says, don't sell it, support, right? Support it. That's the deal.
Well, I don't even see, and I don't know if it's something happened in that area, but if you look at Willamette's cart deal that they run on Friday night, they're not getting that many carts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying it's any one thing or any one person's deal, and shame on anybody that says that, Jason Suchich is has anything to do with this. Hey, the guy may not be perfect, but he is there and he works his ASS off, I'm going to tell you. And he cares, right? He's not an expert, and he might make mistakes, but you know what? The guy cares. He gives a rip, and that's a lot of places you go. They don't. They don't even want to listen to you. At least he listens, and but still, shame on anybody that thinks that that's Jason's fault, because it has nothing to do with it whatsoever. But.
And the answer is not to sell your stuff. It's just to get involved. The one thing I do have to say is I've gotten 2 or 3 calls from people down there that haven't been club members, that aren't running for points at our track, that have just called up and said, hey, look, I want to support you guys. I want to become a club member. I want to do what I can. I can't make meetings. I can't do this, but at least I can pay my dues. I can join your club and, have a voice and try and do something. So, hats off to those people that are trying to do that and trying to get involved and make a difference. That's really what it's going to take, is everybody to do that and decide to chip in and make it all happen.
Yeah, and I just got to say, the UAS Grands have been hustling too. They're coming up the 9th, 10th, and the rain date's the 11th. But they already got another $200 for the pot for the winner, so I don't know how much that is. I heard it was going to be around 600, so that might make it 800. I don't know, but man, you look at that and you say, geez, there's the clones are running for 5, 10, 15,000, 1,500. That's a club race basically to them, But why? It makes you wonder. It makes you scratch your head and go, why can't the UAS guys get some dough like that? Right? I mean, it's few and far between. And granted, I know all those clone guys. It's pretty good, racing, whatever. But I don't know. Is that really all in the class, or is it? I'm not sure where to put my finger on that one. It's just it's a tough deal because it's worth the money. I think you get 16 of those bad boys. I guess part of it is you got to keep them all running, and they're temperamental, and.
It's a good class.
It's a great class.
It's definitely worth supporting. And Kevin Bridges brought that same point up. How can a clone class have 15 of them in there and, the UAS around here be able to get 1 or 2? And it's definitely unfortunate. I see the class growing. There's definitely a lot more people that want to be in it, and definitely people that are building stuff to get into it. So on our end of the world, we're seeing more people get involved in it, and I'm glad for that. It does need more promotion. It does need more, of the racers to get involved in their class and to promote it and to find the people and find the sponsors. You can't really put it all upon your administrator to do all of that for you. They have jobs, they have carts, they have things they need to do. So it's upon all of us to do that. I wish I had the time to do it. I have 7 other classes that I have to promote as well. So it's a tough deal for me to try and do it. I know there's stuff out there. It's just that people have to get organized and go after it and get it done.
I know if we're thinking that, the U.S., obviously, that isn't going to be like a clone class or a 206. That takes just your normal schmo is not going to be able to, that's not something that you're going to get a beginner in or, have it be like, that's upper development stuff, not just anybody's going to do that.
Like what Lippy was talking there, though, you got 1 or 2. I can remember at Graves Harbor when 3 of the midgets were owned by Fred Brownfield, and there was only 5 of them out there. And it was, and you look at it now, and you got to give Galen and Carla a lot of credit.
Absolutely.
They do so much for that class. And, then like putting together the sportsman sprint to let somebody, to...
Yeah, that's a big deal. It is a big deal.
It is so cool, and that's an incentive for people.
Well, people have said it on and on. Jerry Patterson, when we were down there at the last Albany, he said the same thing. He says, I've been karting so long, or racing too, as far as that goes. But he says, it's got ups and it's got the valleys, and it always seems to come back around, and whatever. But typically, I don't think I've ever seen the junior stuff in this situation. Usually it was them that were the abundant ones, and the junior classes were stacked, and we were scratching our head where the adults were, right? So I don't know. There's a lot. But I think it's everywhere. Well, I don't think it's just here.
Yes and no.
Yeah, well, no, I agree with what Terry's saying, because part of the problem is now they sit at home on that Xbox and all this other stuff. There's no interest in this stuff.
Well, and they don't want to have to work on them. It's just work. It's just...
Yes and no. I have to get in and disagree on this. You look at cage carts. You look at quarter midgets, that kind of stuff. Those guys are all big. Their numbers are good in the junior classes. Why is that? Because you can be 9 years old and get into a darn 600 race cart. And we make sure that everybody is 16 years old before they can get into anything that's got any real power. So when you're a dad and you're overzealous and you got your 9-year-old you just know is a great driver, and you go into karting, they got to wait till they're freaking 16 years old before they can do anything. So where are they going to go? They're going to go to quarter midgets. They're going to go to the cage carts. They're going to go to the micro sprints because they can put their kids in those things. That's where karting is way behind. We need to evolve. I've worked hard at making it so youngsters can move up, but I'm getting a great pushback from people that don't agree with it and think that everybody needs to be 16 years old before they can get into something that goes a little
and why would
faster.
you? And why would you think that? I mean, if they're, once you put the lids on, you don't know who's what and what age they are. So, I mean, the only thing that is that, you know, I mean,
Trey Starks won his first sprint 360 sprint car race down there at 15.
What are you afraid of? I mean,
he'd already been in one.
Yeah.
You know what kind of an answer I get from that? I get the old guy that comes over and says, I want to be able to push the driver around when I'm not happy with him, and I don't like it when they're only 9 years old. So, you know, that's the kind of stuff that I have to deal with. Really, for one, you should sit in your cart and calm down before you get out of it. And two, maybe he's just better than you are.
Well, that's just it. I mean, that's all you can say is you're scared of it. I mean, anybody that doesn't want to win or compete with people at their best, right? You don't want people going out and, I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. That's just me. You know, I mean,
but that's, I mean, I've seen, you go to the drags. There's no young kids at the drags.
Well, not, you know, but just because you're 16, you're right. It doesn't mean you can go drive it. There shouldn't be that. But you know what? If like all that, and I don't want to open up a dead horse again, but like all that stuff with Anna, there was no doubt she was good enough to run there. And so there should be a deal, an override where you can say, hey, look, you know, we're going to have the racers sign this and, you know, blah, 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 because they're going to, you know, Jonathan Brown went through the same thing. Brian Green, Greg Norman, you know, Chris Haft. I mean, all these guys with Grand National titles said, you know, yeah, this kid's more than ready to run with us. We want him to run with, you know, whatever. But they said no. So think about it. So now, instead of him moving up because he's ready, right, they keep him down there. And what do you think he does every week? He annihilates everything. Nobody's really got a shot. He's not learning anything. They're not learning anything. And he could be learning stuff because he'd be running something better. But he leaves it down there, and he just runs them into the ground, and they don't have a prayer. And it's like, I don't get it.
My question is that insurance that dictates it, or is it the cars themselves?
Not insurance. Not insurance.
No, I mean,
person
you know,
that pays insurance on a weekly basis, actually once a month, but still, it's not insurance. They do not dictate. They recommend, but they do not dictate. As far as our NKA, who insures ours, they do not dictate the age.
Okay,
right.
I was just
so
IKF does dictate the age with an iron fist.
Yeah, and they shouldn't. That's their whole problem is they've been so iron fisted that they've forgot to grow and roll with the times. You know, that's their deal, and hence, you know, I mean,
yeah, definitely,
done. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, and that was on the track of where I was going the other one. You know, with Albany. I mean, thank goodness it's only this year. And, you know, because they had a run, which they did for the track. And then he said we could get the track back together, but it would be a fanny work and a fair. And, you know, I don't know if I want to do that and then do all that work and hustle and then have nobody show up. So I'm just going to call, you know, so boom, boom. There that is. We got the state fair or the state fair race coming up there. I hope everybody comes and supports that. There again, Jason, you know, I'm going to say it for him. You know, if you can't go there and race and put on a good show and you're going to get upset if you get a little spun or, you know, whatever, stay home because you're going to be in front of a lot of people, and he's hoping that this is going to, you know, do that. This isn't, I mean, yes, race hard, but just remember there's not going to be many yellows, and if you're the type of guy that's going to try to take advantage of that and do that, you know, just stay home. Don't
put on a good show for the people. That's
what you want. That's what you got to do.
You put on a show for the people, and then somebody's going to get interested in it.
Right. And those of you might have seen the new show that I put up on Sunday that had Jason on it. It's called The Inside Group. I just want to let you know that it's not replacing this. It's just something for Lippy, Jeff, or I, if we want to go in depth with somebody, a racer, you know, special person of interest in the motorsports community, we can use that, record it, and it can go out anytime. So there's not going to be a set date at least yet for it. So be looking for it. Hopefully you guys will support it and like it, and just another way for the Northwest Race Report to stay out there. And
I had to search to find it. I didn't get
I scheduled it, and the thing is it doesn't do it like a like when we're live. It's because it's on a schedule, right? It's scheduled to go, and then it posts up on it was on my page. I checked it out, but
yeah, I had to find it.
Yeah, it was my first time doing that, so I apologize if you guys had a tough time finding it. I'll have to make sure everything's set up, because they don't tell you anything there. They just said, you can schedule it. And
it was a great interview, though. I liked it.
Good deal. Thank you. So, Jeff, what do you got? We're about out of time here, but
we got some big races this week, man.
We'll hit a few while we're closing out here.
Grays Harbor, 29th, 30th, Shipwreck Beads Modified Nationals and the Dwarf Car Nationals. 2 great days of racing. Skagit, 2 days of racing at Bob's Burger and Brews Summer Nationals. 360s and the midgets will be there. South Sound, Super Late Model 200. Great time. I love watching that race. Mini Stocks, Sunset. That's their 4B Bonanza, 30 laps one way and 30 the other. Should be an interesting time. If you're into getting up close to race cars, Willamette Fan Appreciation Night. All the classes are there. Woodburn Drag Strips having a night of fire. Wheel standers, jet funny cars, fuel alters, top alcohol dragsters, funny cars, nostalgia funny cars, and 10-5 Outlaws will be there. They'll be there for 2 days, and then 31st is a regular bracket race, but they're paying like $65,000 over the 3 days this weekend. So, and then at Seattle at Pacific Raceways Friday night, the good guys. If you're interested in the old cars,
I'll be there.
That's where to be. And then Saturday's their Super Saturday, which is number 4. And have a good week.
Right on, yeah.
I'd like
Great
to put a shout out to Kyler Culver, who is a brand new dad, and Justin Beard, who is also a brand new dad this last week.
For sure. Congratulations.
No sleep for
guys.
you.
Nope.
Congrats to both of those guys. Yeah, no sleep for you.
And for all you guys tuning in back east, we appreciate it. We know it's late. Chizzy, Sean Hill, the whole gang, Brian Rushing, all those guys. We appreciate you so much. Chizzy's been quiet. I haven't seen Scott Warning. I don't know what the deal is there. But nonetheless, that's it. I think PSGKA is coming up on the 13th, but nothing really going on karting-wise this weekend. So I guess that's...
Remember, support the sponsors of the show, please.
Yes.
Absolutely.
South Bay Automotive, Creative Ink and Design, Scott Seal Coat, Wicked Fabrication, Blue Line Graphics. They're all wicked fab. They're all just awesome. And what's I going to say? Oh, Andy Foley.
Yeah, keep me in your thoughts.
Get well, my brother. Get well. We're behind you all the way. And
thank you, Jerry O'Hagan.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to come up with some good stuff. And as we wind down the summer, our points deal is going to be ending up at the end of August. So,
yeah, we're at week 12 right now with Dan Watkins holding down the number 1.
$100 on the line.
Coming in second.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for joining us in the sport, outside, in life. When somebody's taking the low side, what do you got to do?
Take the high side.
Yes.
I'm going for the high side.
Absolutely. We love you guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good week. Bye-bye.